Cemetery Association about whether we are required to report it, and we're trying to work on the details of whether it's required. Right now, it's not, but I think if we are going to allow members of the public to report it, we probably need our own documentation. Personally.
So Doug, update you on that. John Bartlett has looked into the possibility of town funding to create a duplicate setup for this room, the same as the community room, in terms of the same kind of camera switching kind of equipment. So what he's currently doing is he's looking to see if the technology that he's looking at will work with this, and then they would basically create a somewhat identical setup of the community room with this space, so that the public could zoom in, that there would be a camera, there would be an ability to record the meetings. And if the camera is able to be configured correctly, you could have a limited scope. Say, if there was a public comment, just that person would be seen. The public would not be on camera. The trustee board would be on camera and such, just like they do with the Selectboard meetings and such. So John's at the process of looking into all of that stuff. It's nowhere close to a realization yet, but it is something that he spoke with me a week ago and let me know that he's looking at the equipment, looking to see if it indeed will do what he wants it to do. And then if it is able to do that, we can then come over and look at our setup and our technical requirements for what that would look like.
Do you know how that works with the select board? So let's say we did have the technology and we were using that, but then someone in the public was also recording the meeting. How does that?
I don't know if the select board has. I don't know if the select board has any criteria that states that the public can't record. If people cannot bring in cameras else, because the Lake Champlain already records it for the public. So I don't know if the public is allowed to bring in a personal camera or device to record that. I don't know if they're in
previous meetings, and they've said at those meetings that it's up to the chair at the time, whether they're gonna allow it or not.
I mean, my
thing here is that ours aren't recorded. I think we need to get that.
I mean, my background is that anytime a person's being recorded, you know, provide some sort of consent, like written consent for image, audio, and what the person's actually speaking. So that's my background with those kinds of things.
That's how it is at UVM.
So-
If the student doesn't want to be recorded, and you can't record your lecture.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's,
So if somebody showed up at the public meeting, the assumption is that you're gonna be recorded.
I think that's what you have to.
Like the select board meeting.
but the thing is if your voice is on the recording and you have not consented to allow a person to make a recording, I mean, technically that person could then file suit against you for, I didn't give permission for
I
myself.
don't think that's the case. in
No.
Vermont. That's not.
That's not the case in the country.
Sorry.
Sure,
Oh,
I'll get you some case law.
I was thinking open meeting, that would be a little bit different. It's an open public meeting. So you could choose not to talk, and then if you record, but you would think if you chose to ask a question about the company, that you be recorded, that's essentially, I know that it's an open meeting, that you're giving your consent by doing such a thing. That would be,
yeah,
I
Vermont
don't
state law
know.
does not require that you have permission from the individual to record.
Okay.
Any other meetings don't record the audience either.
Right, do you know if the select board, like, let's say I went to select board and I stood up and asked a question, would I be recorded if I asked the question?
If you ask the question, yes.
Yes, but
Definitely,
not
if
just
you're like
the
sitting
audience,
no.
generic.
But at least with the school board one, the LCATV recording, if you watch it live, which is not the actual, this is really confusing. No, if you zoom it in and you do the school board meeting, then the camera's positioned behind the board members and then you can see like far away the audience members. But if you do if you go back and look at the recording of LCATV, it's behind the people. It's behind, so you can see behind the back of the person's head and it's just centered on the board. You're still not seeing the people.
No, it's worth it, it's worth following up on that.
Yeah, well, I think we should, definitely talk to from the select board, talk to maybe the town lawyer, just say, okay, what's the protocol to follow, what's the law? So we're following the law correctly. And then I agree, I think it would be good to have us recorded. I think that takes us out a bit of that gray zone that we're currently in, that we don't have a recording. And that way, we can, talk the meeting, record it.
Years ago, the select board used to do audio recording. That was primarily for the secretary. But still kept.
Right, and it's a record.
Secretary would read the minutes out.
Is that something, Matthew, we could ask you to do, to ask some people to come to?
I could ask John where he's at with the reporting
Yeah.
process, where that is, and then I can also follow up that with asking him whether the town lawyer could provide us some guidance on what the legal
Yeah, like
ramifications of this is. Yep.
Yeah, because it's a serious issue. We ought to follow the law. Any more discussion on that?
If I can.
You guys good? If we go back to the public then? Yes?
Sweetie, I'm sorry, hey, I just want to say something.
We will ask the public to join again with the conversation.
Thank you. Hey, look, the people who are looking at us, they want to hear from us. Say hi.
Oh my God.
So I just thought I would make a couple of points. We come to these meetings, and in my opinion, we have a reasonable expectation that we will not be recorded at present because we know that the board does not record. So if we come in, we have that expectation. If you were to change that, then that's fine, we would have the expectation that we would be recorded. But we know you're not recorded. But we come in and we get recorded anyway. So that's a concern. The other thing is that I understand the gentleman's point about sending a message in if we have children. But if I send a message in, I can't contribute like this. We can't have any sort of a back and forth. We can't respond to anything and bring other elements of the conversation out. Also, that means that we have to find a babysitter, which means that we have to pay money to find a babysitter. And that becomes
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is it the video recording, audio, both, that makes you uncomfortable?
For this one?
Yeah, for somebody who
Anything
cannot
at
get
all.
permission?
Yeah, anything at all. The reason being, I'm very much aware the way that both video and audio can be used, which I'm not suggesting that we do this. So please understand.
Not taking it innocent.
This isn't about you.
It kind of is, but
It's about something you're doing that's not about you.
sure.
So I'm aware of the fact that they can be used maliciously. I'm aware of the fact that it's becoming easier to use them maliciously and for false purposes. I can take on an element of that risk myself as an adult. You can. And I don't want to find 20 years out that there's material from my daughter floating around on the web. 10 years out, 5 years out, 2 years out, whatever.
I kind of have a personal question. Why would you take the risk for her? in this case?
I'm not sure I know.
Why
what
would
mean.
you even take the risk that she's gonna get video just because you wanna come, you feel that you need to come?
Because it's an important issue for people in general,
Then
not
you
just for
can-
me.
Then you can, and most people, I'm sure, would use a babysitter.
So would use a babysitter.
I know I would.
So here's the thing. These risks are small. But they exist.
Apparently.
They are small. I don't think there's a high chance that this gentleman is going to go out and do something with images of my child on the dark web. I don't think there's a good chance of that. There's a chance someone does, or that the person sitting behind him does, or that somebody else does. It's not a huge chance, but it's a chance.
That's why take it.
Because hopefully, as I said when I came in, number one, I'm not being recorded by the board. I come in here with a reasonable expectation at the moment that I'm not being recorded.
Okay.
And I addressed the gentleman before I spoke,
Yeah.
asking him, saying that I did not give him consent to record my daughter or myself, quite frankly.
Correct.
That's what I can do.
Yep.
But it's an important issue, and it's an important issue to protect other children as well. So I feel like I need to speak up about it.
So if there was a rule here. where we
Sir,
said-
do you want to add anything?
all you have to do is Google First Amendment audit. This is a public forum. There is no expectation of privacy. There is no need to get consent from anyone, anywhere. I appreciate your concerns. I would have maybe the same ones. I have not videotaped this meeting since I've been here until I became a topic of discussion. And one of the reasons I do record is when I become or am somehow related to the proceedings, which with my wife's and my positions now with the town have been happening more and more often. And we've been being repeatedly attacked online and in forums. So I routinely record to have a record of who, what, and when. And it is my First Amendment right to do so, just like anyone who wants to record. I can't come into your forum, set up a big camera, when I can sit with a camera on my lap, just as I would be playing on my telephone and record the meeting. It's public.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Sir, we're gonna move our meeting along, so if you guys want to have a private conversation, I think that's fine, but we're gonna move on. So Matthew, you're gonna check into,
I'll ask John about
John.
the meeting and about the procedure guidance that I'll just report it to you.
any other trustees that come here? Alright, so. Next up, Jen brought up last time about.
No constitutional right to videotape public proceedings, as long as there's an alternate means of gathering information.
My personal take on it is that there should be a public record and it should be accessible, and that just has to be, which is the law, so it has to be. I think it comes down to discussion.
So it's audio recording or taking notes is as good as audio recording.
You need audio or visual to be
But no,
distinct.
it doesn't say that.
Yeah, I think it does in there.
It does.
It states.
Well, I mean, based
not
on his
here.
writing.
Not in here, it doesn't.
No, what he's saying is if we adhere to the state law, which says we have to either audio or visual.
Second, the last paragraph from this.
The big paragraph
No,
on that page.
second, the last paragraph from the back.
If you're someone like the Selectboard, you have to have a visual as well, but we do not. Because
Really?
Yeah, but we don't have to, like an audio would suffice for us. We don't have to record, but we do have to have an audio recording. And that's the one that gets posted once we approve the minutes like we just did, then that audio recording, then it has to be posted to at least one website. They recommend more than one. Like you put it on, you could also put it on Front Porch Forum. Put a link to that, you put a link on the town website, the library. The idea is to make it Lauren's comment, I don't see why you can't just leave it up there, and why you're not necessarily taking down in 30 days, you can just build an archive of all the meetings, so someone's looking past it.
I think that's what they do on the town website.
Just, you can go back and do it.
It's here, come back. One comment on here, post a copy of the recording in a designated electronic communication for a minimum of 30 days. That was 30 days after the final minutes of that meeting.
Yes, they're approved,
Yeah.
so like,
Just wanted to clarify, so that's not,
whatever that
is that?
statute that
Yes,
sent to us,
that's-
yes. Right, so like if we were doing this, we would be posting the June 12th audio recording after this meeting. So that's what you're saying, you're kind of like 60 days out really
From the meeting.
from the meeting itself. Or 60 days.
So they say about the electronic location, that's what the website.
It said that, I think it was at the end of that section, like at the end of the web pages, it was saying that they recommend that I think it's the legislative municipal body, so basically the select board or the town in general has a designated place where all of these things go. Because they're gonna have to start recording all their other cemetery board and all those things as well, so they're gonna have to come up with a general location, and I wonder if they would share the space with us?
Well, they've already on the Town of Milton's page, there is the ability to either post video or audio onto it. So where it says where our agenda goes and our minutes go, there's
put it in there, yeah.
a link in there that says, do you have audiovisual material download?
Okay.
And so I can just upload that, and it provides a compressed file of however long it is.
Okay, and it's not just a link, like,
No,
it stores it there.
It stores it there.
You're probably already planning this, but I would recommend also, probably easiest for Matthew to do it, but, to make sure that we have our own record too, just in case anything ever happens. but
Yes,
just to
so,
make sure we're all
so what
aligned.
I would do is I would store it in either our Office 365 OneDrive account or in our Google Drive account, and just store everything there.
And will we post it on the library website also?
I haven't gotten it, I have to look and see how that would work. So that would probably be some form of, is what I'm guessing.
Oh, that would then go
Oh.
to the, yeah.
Yes, I need to figure out the logistics of how that would work with the website.
I think going forward, the redundancy is not a bad idea either, because I know that at least one meeting that I went to ages ago, the select board, somebody forgot to motion for it and missed the first part of the meeting, and it was a little bit of a drama, so I'm just like, oh my God.
Might just suggest that, pick up a external hard drive as the sole backup of our trustee functions. Not 8 terabytes, not what I want, 500 years worth of that.
We can create like I have a flat, 1 terabyte flash drive sort of for that purpose for the library. What I can do is store the stuff and then just keep it at my house. Because as is typical when you're doing a backup, you always want to keep a copy of that backup offsite and stuff. So, yeah, I could do
That
that.
would be a super safe. All I used to go to the Iron Mountain back, so.
Yes.
Iron Mountain, I know that place.
But it worked.
That's other people's thoughts on what our policy would be.
Here it talks about a quorum. Documents may be signed by a quorum of any public body.
That's that 5.
considered what you would come with a suggestion for?
This is what the town attorney, suggested.
I mainly focused on the actual, like, action part by us. I think that's all good, except I would question whether we should add that another 30 days after the final minutes.
Sure. Yeah, that gets,
But as long as there's some link that this is the law that we're following, then it loops back to that anyway. It may not be necessary, but.
Do I
Yeah.
have to what the end?
Yeah.
Well, they said the
Yeah.
Board of Trustees will be abiding by the new statutory
Yeah.
requirements.
So as long as
Let's say
that's
we
kind of
have-
redundant, so
Yeah.
I don't.
So can we, like to go through this just a little bit of my own mind, maybe next month?
Yeah, we
Finalize it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to do that too, I can't.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, pretty good. And it'll just kind of sort of head on the agenda, the streaming services.
To the public forum for anybody? Everybody?
I assume we'll be able to talk after you discuss. My understanding is you might be voting on something tonight, or no? Or at least discussing something tonight?
This is the time, if you've got something to bring up, bring it up.
Okay. Or,
I think that the question is, there's an agenda item on here that he may want to contribute conversation
Okay.
to.
after you've discussed it.
That's later on.
Okay.
Anything you wanted to add into here? Okay.
But before then, I just want to, as part of that discussion, I would appreciate, as part of your discussion on that item, that I requested that the library trustees explain in regards to the public recording item, who requested that agenda item be the video recording by public discussion, who added that to the June 12th Milton Library agenda, and precisely what precipitated that topic being added. Why this was even a topic of discussion is unclear, as no video recordings by the public had occurred at any time at any of the meetings that I had attended since March 2024, which were all of them. So it was unclear to me, watching all the meetings, why that was even a topic of
We'll wait for
discussion.
that. To
So-
the extent then, if there's no public forum per se, other than what you brought up, Joel, is it?
Yes.
Approval of the minutes from last month?
the only adjustment that I see is, the date of the volunteer appreciation breakfast is not the 14th, but 21st. So,
Oh. Okay.
it had gotten changed.
Right.
That's why I got confused.
So, 14th.
It's not the 14th.
It's the 21st.
21st.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Anybody make a motion on the minutes?
I motion to accept the minutes from the August 15th, 2024 meeting, as written with the exception of the change that Matthew noted.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept the approval or accept the minutes of August 15th with the noted change to the date. 14 to
The 14th to the 21st.
all in favor? Aye.
For minutes purposes, that was first by Beth and then by Jen, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So, public recording of library trustee meetings. Okay.
So there's a thing in your packet of the outline for the explanation, and the motion is the last paragraph.
The Milton, as a result of studying this, and I think we added this to this
Yes.
thing, to the legislature's presentation. The Milton Public Library Board of Trustees has chosen to adopt a policy prohibiting recording by the public of its meetings. The Board of Trustees will be abiding by the new statutory recording requirements by providing alternative means of compiling a comprehensive record. Okay,
So
discussion?
since I'm not there, I don't have the updated version, or, so what is that the only stuff that's changed from before? Because I don't think it was emailed.
No, it was the same one from last time.
Okay, perfect, then I have it. Thank you.
So you have a copy of that last paragraph, Lauren?
Yes, yeah, I have the copy last time. I thought you were saying something had changed.
Okay, no,
Thank you.
it's just an addition to the Vermont state package.
Yes.
So is there any discussion on this particular item, folks?
I'm in favor of that policy, so.
Okay.
You are in favor?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I understood.
Yeah.
So I do have some questions that I'd like to pose, first of all. One of them being the First Amendment audits that are occurring. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because I understand that it's related to public recordings within the confines of the library itself.
No, this policy doesn't have any.
Right, I acknowledge that. I'm asking about the actual First Amendment audits that are happening. Specifically, what is it
So anyone
in
can-
regards to?
Anyone can record in the library.
Yep,
People just, there haven't been any individuals that were being, the way the First Amendment audits in the media are being depicted, there has not been anyone that has been coming in. So I had a really nice conversation with
Joe Duquette.
Joe Duquette for an hour, and we just talked about library procedures, policies, and so forth. That's basically part of what my job is to answer people's questions that have questions. So if people want to come in and record in the library and are not disrupting other patrons, if they're not being disruptive to the environment, if they're abiding by the library's behavior policy, they can do that.
okay,
The behavior policy is posted within the library. If they do violate the library's behavior policy, they'll be politely asked to cease recording if the recording is what is causing the disruption. If they refuse to do that, then we will have to ask them to politely leave the library. If they refuse to do that, then we contact the non-emergency number of the police, and they send an officer.
okay. So who's monitoring that? If it were to occur, who would it be that would be addressing that situation under the behavior policy?
All staff.
All staff. And I guess I would have to review the behavior policy to get a better understanding of what would, if there's discrepancies per individual who might be observing the behaviors. Right, because policies generally are a guidance.
It's a simple,
Yeah.
single sheet.
Okay. All right,
It's
so
posted on the website as well.
We reviewed it.
the reason why I'm asking is because that creates a lot of confusion to me as to why we're saying anybody from the public can come in and report so long as it's not going against the behavior policy, but then we're establishing a policy that's saying that people cannot do the same thing during a public meeting.
It was, as the town's attorney had said, it's, since the state statute mandates that the body of the library board is taking responsibility for recording its meetings, there is no need or reason for additional recordings to be made.
Okay.
We are recording, Mike?
That's right, that's-
Okay, and that's available for
That will
2
be,
months?
basically, once the minutes of the previous month have been approved, then the recording will get posted onto the town's website.
Oh, okay.
There is
Just like the
ability
select
for the recording to be uploaded.
Does it get uploaded like typed out?
No, it gets recorded as a
Audio?
simple audio wave file.
Okay, so that's,
It'll just be a link you click, and it would open up on your screen.
right, well,
Yeah.
it would open up with a, you could hear it, the speaker will show up.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Okay,
And then I save the wave file
right,
locally, so if something ever did happen on the town's website,
still got.
I have a backup copy of that particular meeting.
Okay, so that goes on to the town. After 30, basically after 60 days, reality, from this time of this meeting. And it's 30 days after the approval of the minutes of this
Right.
meeting, which is another month.
Right.
Okay. Let's see. Statutory, providing the new statutory recording requirements by providing alternative means of compiling a comprehensive record. So, I guess I could say that, I might agree with that as long as we're keeping that record there. I don't know.
Well,
what-
legally, we have to, because that's a state law now, right?
Yes.
So legally, we have to.
Yes.
Right. The select board keeps both, if I remember right, they have an audio and they keep a video too.
Yes, the statute states that it only needs to be either audio or audio and
They keep both.
I have no idea.
Okay, I'm not sure either, but I know the audio thing has been going on since the 70s. Because I remember that when the select board meetings, it was a tape recorder right there. And they'd say, oh, wait, it's not, don't change the tape. Okay.
I think it's like work with video too. I think
so.
I've seen them, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, John Bartlett is working at setting up for this room the same setup that they have for the town's meeting room where the select board meets.
Okay.
So the technology that is in that room is brand new. So he's looking at the feasibility of setting it up, a duplicate system in here using ARPA funds. So if that's the case, it'll be both audio and visual.
Yep.
And it will be the exact same kind of setup that they would have in that space.
Okay.
So what I would like to make clear is the statutory recording requirements is in regards to we are being required to capture it on audio.
Right.
The piece that I want to probably flesh out a little bit more is the allowing or not allowing the public to record these meetings.
Video. Or
Correct,
audio.
either or at all.
I don't know.
There's an individual at the back, I don't know if somebody's trying to, as part of the meeting. It might not be. But that's the piece that I'd like for us to be able to kind of flesh out a little bit more.
Well, if we're looking at it coming at us from the general town, I guess I'm not really upset with recordings being done while we're in meeting by individuals.
I guess I don't understand why the public needs to record it as well, when there will be a copy available.
That's a very good point. I
And
agree.
frankly, personally, I don't like it. I mean, I know that's not
Yeah,
a legit reason, but
there is exposure to data being manipulated that we don't have any control over from our own meetings. That's a danger part, not to say that
Right.
people, but we know who's gonna do it or isn't gonna do it. Sooner or later, it's gonna get done. That's everywhere. So it may be a valid concern at this point, only what is produced via the town. And if the recording, a copy of the recording is available to someone, let's say they wanted to get it tomorrow, would that be available, within 3 or 4 days? Would a copy of the audio be available?
Once the minutes are approved, then it gets
So
posted.
you're looking at what? Before, the very earliest, we could be with you until the next meeting.
Well, the minutes get approved, the audio recording is of the minutes. So once they're approved, then
Also-
the audio recording gets uploaded to the town site.
All this conversation gets edited out, maybe?
No,
Just don't read the minutes. and
no, it's
that's it.
sort of like what gets presented for the minutes of this meeting don't get seen until they get approved.
True,
And then
In
they
writing.
then get
In writing.
posted, yes.
good point.
So it's following the same process, it's just a different piece of technology.
But then, what we're
It's a-
also
it's in
saying
a-
is audio is not available until after the minutes have been approved.
Yes, because the minutes, the written minutes have draft across it, so
Mhm.
everyone knows it's a draft format.
Right.
In order to keep with the spirit of the law, nothing gets edited on
Right.
recording.
Right.
It's, I hit start, I hit stop, that's the amount of the recording and such.
Good.
So I think part of the concern that a lot of people have are when people take, whether it's audio, video, and they start editing stuff. And having worked in that industry before, you can make those kind of edits almost invisible and splice things together and make it seem like one thing is being said when it isn't being said. And I think that is a concern that people have with any kind of recordings, is that it's the whole deep fake videos where they take images of people, superimpose those images on other people's bodies and stuff, and then get a recording of the voice, and it makes it seem like it's really them speaking or performing and such. Those are real concerns, I think, that a lot of public bodies are really dealing with, is that how do we know what is being presented on the audio tape or the videotape is actually real? How do we know it hasn't been digitally altered in some form? And I think that is the concern that people outside of this body have about when things are getting recorded and such.
Lauren has her hand up.
Oh.
Yes.
Whenever it's a transition. So, I don't know who brought it up, maybe it was me, maybe it was somebody else, I don't know, but we can certainly see if we can get down to that. But my original concern when we were discussing this issue was the fact that we did not have our own recording. And so basically somebody coming in and making a recording and whatever they say is technically the official document then, even though it doesn't have anything to do with us. So that has been largely alleviated by the fact that coincidentally the state passed this requirement for us to do recording, so we have to record. So that aspect to me kind of alleviates my initial concern. But this situation has gotten more complex because this week there has been a series of the exact videos that you're talking about, Matthew, that have been presented about a series of people in town, myself included, and it's exactly what you're talking about. And it's a very amateur video with a very kind of ominous male, scary sounding voice talking about various people in town. And so given the evolution this past week, I'm actually more in favor of passing this because I think it's important, just like you said, to make sure that things don't escalate in that regard.
So, I guess then I don't have a problem with nobody else recording as long as we can produce a recording for anybody that wants it. This isn't like a news thing at this point, because if that was the case, then in Washington we would never see anything on TV. It'd just be that simple. So, I guess I could live with this alternative means of a comprehensive record. Because we know that's going to end up changing in the future, near future, but in the future. So if people want to sit and make notes, nobody can do about that for sure, and rightly so. As far as recording with hardware and software, I guess that's out based on what we're talking about right now. If we read this correctly, the only thing that's going to be official from this board will be the copy, the audio copy of these meetings.
Until John gets the other
Until the
systems
future
set up.
dictates something different.
I don't agree.
No.
No, I believe that if we're allowing public into the library space and they can record, so long as they are not going against the behavior policy, then why would we not allow for it to occur here within a public meeting space?
Then we would probably have to rewrite this a little bit. So it isn't solid yet then. Based on that kind of thinking, I would have to suggest that we come up with one or two other writings and solve that.
Yeah, well, I'm not in favor of letting people in here, so
Yeah.
I would like to see this.
You like it just as it
Yeah.
is. And,
I would like to reiterate that a lawyer had a part in drafting this document too, to protect the library. So this isn't just language that trustees or some random person put together. This is something that was put together for our own protection,
By the town's attorney.
for the town's
Oh, is that
protection.
right?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. You're right, you mentioned that last meeting. You talked about that.
Well, maybe we should, since Alan's not here.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a total group
Right.
to make the decision and the thinking about it. But the only alternative for this is to table this particular agenda item and table it
I mean-
and bring it up next month.
Alan knew that we were voting on this, so
Yeah,
I kind of feel like he knows, so it's not, I don't think it's necessary to wait, but
I was
obviously,
just
whenever
wondering
you
in
decide,
case there was a tie,
sure,
so,
then we'd have to revote.
yeah.
well, I don't know, I guess, I'm not too particularly nervous about it, but,
Well, I would like to hear why people would want to record when we're recording
oh,
and it's available. I guess I would like
oh,
to,
that's a
yeah.
reasonable question. Anybody
Okay.
interested in that?
yeah.
Thank you. My name is Matt Kelly. I host a show on LCATV called Milton Today. I'm here recording for Milton Today. This is a pretty important topic that I think deserves to be heard and apprised to the Milton voters and the citizens alike. And so what we're ultimately talking about is at least a 30-day delay. That's immeasurable in a digital era of immediacy. And I rely on these recordings of these meetings because what happens here is often, not necessarily in this meeting, but in other meetings, controversial. And in my show, I've been actually able to call people to the mat for their behavior. And we think that's important because in today's world, just like you're saying, people are making videos that people find disagreeable. But let's be clear about that. That still is the First Amendment. That is the right to make something that offends you. And as much as I understand the concern here, I think a solution is actually to expedite something like LCATV coming in and recording this, just like they record the Selectboard. They stream it live and it's up on their website within 2 to 3 days under the Milton banner. And I think that's the solution because a 30-day delay, and that's a minimum. You don't meet every month, do you? Has there been a month that you have not met, that you maybe have not had a quorum? Yes, there has been.
Occasionally, but yeah.
There has been. So
Yeah,
that means that
people
there's
said they
potentially,
couldn't make
Yeah.
one.
but that means that there's potentially a 60-day delay for that to get up. That's
We
unacceptable.
didn't meet in July.
That's just unacceptable.
Yeah.
And so,
Well,
for me, again, this is policy. And I really applaud Lauren for saying that a way to protect us is actually to have it fully covered. Audio and video, I actually believe. We're in a digital era of video. Audio, okay. So that's my concern. That's why I am actually here recording this tonight. I can't wait 30 or 60 days on a topic of immediate importance to the voters, to my audience as well, who is relying on me to inform them, right?
So what if you pulled it off from LCA TV?
Well, again, I'm sort of here as my own show on LCA TV. I don't need to personally record it. I'm saying if you want to solve Lauren's question, hold on, get LCA TV in here as soon as possible. Then I can watch it and pull it down anytime I need it. I'm not saying
So
that
that's all we wanted, all you're really saying is LCA TV.
because I support Lauren's quest that we should record these meetings for the protection of the library and the library committee. And they need to be uploaded in an immediate factor. Because if, and this addresses what Matthew was saying about these fake videos, these fake out videos, is that the fact that they would be up there immediately in their full length allows somebody to go and say, well, wait a minute, that video is fake because here's the full video. But if you have to wait 30 or 60 days, that video or audio can be out there and do that damage. So it's imperative that these meetings be recorded and streamed live And if you're going to have LCATV come in, that's the perfect way to solve it. And they will put it up within,
It's
36
still
to
not a
48
legal
hours.
document until the minutes are approved.
But again, how does
Period.
that happen with the select board?
Same way.
Select board is streamed
They-
live
they-
though.
That's fine, but it's not a legal document until they approve those minutes
Okay.
by the state statute.
I don't know about that.
Well, you ought to look into that too.
Right,
So
I'm
you
just
can put
commenting
everything together.
on, again, her question as to why would the public want to record? And
Yeah,
I've given, I think, reasonable counters to your objection that should be considered.
My objection is more like Joseph coming in and recording. Why does he need to record?
When did I record?
I don't know. I'm just saying,
video, you mean? No, you mean
Yeah.
video.
anything.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm still.
If we have another recording available, why would someone
When
else
I get to my
need come in?
statement, I'll address that.
Okay.
If we can have a conversational tone, which I'd love to have, I've been coming to these meetings since March,
Yeah, let's see.
and
You're involved right now.
and I'm confused utterly when this thing came up in June as to why it was even a topic with the library. Like all of a sudden it was a topic.
Well, I think because of the,
Well, what does that have to do with all of a sudden slamming the door on the public being able to record your meetings?
because the
State
town
created
lawyer.
a habit here.
Yeah.
No, the state said that you had to record your meetings. They didn't say that the public couldn't record your meetings. As one does not have anything to do with the other.
Yeah, I don't know how,
So I'm curious how it ever got into the agenda
Yeah.
as why we're discussing this.
yeah, I don't know.
Who decided that that was going to be put on the agenda to discuss and possibly negate the public's right? And I will show you in my statement, it's a Vermont right. Just as I said in that meeting when it came up as a topic. I will present to you everything. And the town's attorneys, they're generalists. They don't know anything about this. They researched and found out of jurisdiction case law. What's that?
Did you see this?
No.
Well, this is the public recording of library trustees.
Because I am not able to get your packet yet, if that's in your packet. And
No, this is a state thing.
no, what's that?
And in one of the paragraphs, right near the end, it says, the new legislative requirement further justifies a policy prohibiting members of the public from recording the trustee meetings by, now this is by the trustees,
Who said that?
providing alternative means of compiling a comprehensive record.
Yes,
Since there will be a recording of every meeting made available to the public.
that's the last paragraph of what the attorneys provided us, right?
It's next to the last paragraph.
Sure.
It's near the middle of the paragraph above it. So,
No, they're saying that it you're gonna have to, I'll show you what I have. That isn't rooted in law.
it doesn't matter, it is.
No.
Don't have to be a good one, it just has to be.
They passed amendments to the open meeting law. The amendments didn't change what I'm gonna present to you, is what I'm
Well,
saying.
then you'll have to take that up with the state, I think, not with us, because we certainly don't have that kind of capability to understand. We're just trying to go with what,
No. All they're saying is the attorney is saying that in their opinion it justifies it as support for it.
that's
That's
not,
the way I read
that's
it
not
as
the
well.
Yeah.
attorney's opinion, that's a legislature's opinion.
No.
But it's justified as apart from
Yeah,
required.
it's totally different. It's an
Oh,
attorney.
That's
Justifies
right.
the policy.
It allows an
The attorney's-
organization to set that policy.
That in the attorney's opinion. However,
It's in the law.
no. It,
No,
Jen, we're on the
I'm
same
not
page
talking
as
about
far
the
as
last one.
this.
I think what I'm hearing you say is what I'm trying to say
Yeah,
as well.
I don't know how to
is that-
articulate it to Mike so that he'll understand it.
That
No,
is, to
it's
justify a
simple.
policy, the new legislative requirement justifies making a policy. It
prohibit.
doesn't say that we have to have a policy.
That's correct,
Right.
absolutely
I
right.
think that that is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I will,
So this policy generated because of this kind of thing up here. That's why they decided. to
because
generate
after the June 12th meeting, the trustees requested Matt to go back to the town's attorneys to get justification.
it. No,
And then that's when Matt, right, went to the attorneys and said, provide us justification to have this policy.
No, it didn't.
Or I don't know how you worded it to the attorneys. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
The attorney and I spoke about the new law and what I asked for him to provide case law, basically explaining what are the different possibilities, what are the different things that the library board of trustees, what are the options in front of them? And that's what he did. He provided me with what the case law was, and then he basically said, the library board of trustees are well within their rights to establish how meetings are conducted and what, if any, limitations they want to place on those things. Because the library board of trustees were meeting the state statute. And that's what is indicated in.
So basically, the motion is that last paragraph.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
That's the
Okay.
proposed
That's what we're gonna
policy.
approve.
And the second to last paragraph is the attorneys summarizing, saying that based off from what they found for case law.
No, that is the legislation. The
Right.
second to the last
The legislation that enacted saying that you had to record, and the attorney saying, we further believe that because you were recording that further
paragraph.
supports
No,
that.
you're adding things in. You're adding things in.
No.
This is just a motion.
The last
Box.
paragraph,
It's a
correct.
motion, that's all.
The second to last paragraph is a summary.
No, that's the legislature.
Yes. The Vermont legislature recently passed amendments to the open meeting law. That's true. That requires you, the board of trustees, and all these non-advisory public bodies to record its meetings in audio or video and post a copy in a designated electronic location for a minimum of 30 days. That's a statement. That's true. This requirement goes into effect on July 1st, 2024. That's true. This is now the attorney saying the new legislative requirement further justifies, this is the attorneys now saying that based off from this, that it further justifies you having this policy prohibiting members of the public from recording the trustees' meetings by providing, in their articulating, alternative means of compiling a comprehensive record. And they're using that terminology based off from earlier case law that they are quoting. That is out of jurisdiction and old. And I will present to you newer case law and Vermont law regarding the open meeting law coming from the Secretary of State saying specifically that the public is allowed to record public meetings.
So this, you remember that, this paragraph here, it's a summary also of the lawyer.
Yes, that is.
So that's all part of the lawyer work.
Yes, that is part of it.
All right, so, sorry about that.
No worries.
I misunderstood.
I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. That's why I want to have this conversational tone.
All right, Lauren.
I'm sorry if I'm loud. I get that way.
Say some things, I've just been waiting a while, which is fine. But, first of all, so, several points. First of all, I'm totally fine with LCATV coming in personally, that's me speaking for myself. I don't know if there's charges or what the situation is for that. If it costs money, that's gonna be a huge burden for the library. But if it's free, great. I think if we do that, it would be extremely important that we get people that are recording and involved in the video that are not actively engaged in our local politics and school situations. So getting people, which I know LCATV have, they're based in Colchester, they have a whole team of people that are not based in Milton, so it shouldn't be a problem. Secondly, like you mentioned, the minutes for the select board, they legally have to come out within, a few days or something after the meeting. The draft form does. And it's the same exact law that the select board follows. And that is the official copy. There are times when the select board meetings, minutes do not correspond to what you see on the video, and they still go by what the minutes say. Those are the official records, even if we are supplying videos. So, and that gets me to my third point. I know, Matt, you said that you feel like it's very important, you really rely on these video recordings for following what's going on with these different meetings. But I'm not sure that that really applies here, because we've only been recording meetings for 1 month. So I don't see where you've been following recordings from our meeting.
You're not talking about the meeting,
Oh, no, I'm recording that. He says that he's been, relies on these recordings for following the meetings, but we haven't been recording because it wasn't a legal requirement until last meeting. So, I don't know, there's just kind of a disconnect there. That's all I wanted to say.
Can I respond?
Ultimately, it's in Mike's court whether we vote or not today. He's the chair, so.
Yeah,
I still have a full comment when we get to that.
okay.
And if I may, before he starts, I'll just respond briefly to what she said, in terms of, you've only been recording for a month. I
Does
don't
Mike give
mean,
you authorization to talk? Because he's the chair, so he has to authorize. Just like at the select board meetings, he has to say you can talk.
Are you
No,
done?
I'll wait.
Relinquish?
Yes.
right. I just wanted to respond to Lauren there, in that I'm not specifically identifying, the library committee. I'm identifying every recording of a public meeting that occurs in this town. Whether it be Selectboard, whether it be DRB, whether it be the school board, all those meetings are recorded because they're of vital importance to the community members, because their tax dollars are being spent for these initiatives, including the library committee. And it's vitally important that they are up to speed immediately on what is occurring here from the committee that oversees the spending of those tax dollars. Thank you.
One quick question.
Sure.
Do you record select board meetings as well?
No, again, I want this to be very clear. I am here representing my show, Milton Today. And not even that. I'm an independent producer on LCATV. Anyone here can be an independent
So why
producer
don't you do that
on
in there,
LTV.
on the select board meetings as well?
Sometimes I do. Okay,
Okay.
but I am not here representing LCATV.
No, that's
I'm
fine.
here as an
Sounds like
independent
you are.
producer. Okay?
Well,
No,
you
well,
just
he
said
just
that
asked
you're
me,
here as an
why don't
independent
I
producer.
do this? Again, I'm here now because there's controversy about a attempt to really silence community members, to engage in censorship.
Really?
And that is what
Why
this
is
is.
that? Why?
Well, because you're preventing the documentation of a public meeting. You're actively preventing it by saying, we're recording it, but we're waiting 30 days until we can release it. That's unacceptable to me as a media personality in this community who relies on the timely and almost immediate submission of content that occurs on the behalf of the citizens in this town.
The reason that you do this here as a board, elected board, is you have to follow the law. You're not necessarily following any law, you're just doing what you think you want to do. And you have that liberty.
Well, wait,
No, excuse me. We have to follow the law, producing it. It's not official until it's 30 days later and the minutes have been approved. It's just that simple. Same with the select board. I'll guarantee you they aren't always exactly the same.
Can I respond?
Anybody else here interested?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
try that.
No, just because I am actually obeying the law. Okay, I'm actually obeying the rules that the library sets to conduct myself in a manner that we've just been discussing here, right? Right? I mean, there is a policy that the library has. Wait, let me
There's
finish.
no requirement of you to be here.
No, but again, there is a policy about how to conduct yourself in the premises of this library. He's just told us that there is. I am now obeying that policy by conducting myself in a calm, respectable manner. I'm not intimidating anyone. If I'm offending you, I'm not sure how, because we're having a discussion. So I just want you to
Right,
say,
having a discussion.
like you are obeying the law, I am too.
Well, we're
So-
required to do this.
And I'm
You're
required-
not required.
Sure I am. He has a policy here about how I have to behave. That is a law here. He just said if I don't behave in a way that accommodates his policy, he will call the
Lauren
police.
is,
Yes,
He just
sorry.
said this.
Sorry, excuse me for interrupting, but.
I would like to remind Mike that he's in charge of the meeting, and if he feels that he doesn't want to get into a direct argument with people in the audience, he doesn't have to, just like in a select board, you can, you know, they give a couple minutes to a
Good
person,
point.
and if they don't want to yield the floor to you,
Okay.
you don't have to argue with people, just giving you that, right?
Fair enough.
Secondly, if we're going to not vote on this tonight, and we're going to rehash it with Alan, maybe we want to have this discussion all over again next meeting with Alan present?
I'd like to table it, after the discussion, make a decision after a discussion with John Bartlett as to when and where this update to recordings would be done, so that it would be a lot easier. In the meantime, I would say we should contact LCATV and see if they could get somebody in here to do this. So, yeah.
Let me talk to John.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm gonna ask you to talk.
Can we invite John to come to our next meeting perhaps so that we can all ask our own questions?
Would you mind doing that, inviting him?
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is gonna be tabled.
Mike, may I, please?
Yeah? Okay, fine. Didn't know that here.
Do we not know how this ever got into the agenda in June?
It doesn't really matter at this point, no.
Okay.
I don't believe it does. I don't know exactly how. I know the legislature is,
I mean, Alan put together the agenda, so I would imagine he would know, and he's not here, so.
yeah.
I'd like to get that eventually, but I'd love to present
Okay.
my information so that when you do reconvene, it can be considered as far as your decision, because I think it will be very pertaining to the discussion.
Okay.
I'll just say, it very well might have been me, but like I said, my initial concern was the fact that we didn't have our own recording. That it set us up for legal liability because we didn't have a legal recording, and any member of the public having a legal recording could create a disconnect between what we're saying happens and what somebody's video editing is saying is happening. And that's not cool. If we're making our own videos now, which we are, then my initial concern is alleviated. That part of my initial concern. My second concern when we started discussing this was the fact that I have a young child. I personally don't think that we should put up barriers for people that they can't bring their families or whatever to meetings. And I have had issues in this town with being, not to get into too much personal detail, but being stopped by people that I've had to file police reports against. I do not want to come to a meeting or be intimidated by coming to a meeting because I have people that are following me around and my children around with cameras. So, given the evolution of things this past few days with the videos that have surfaced, naming specific people and putting specific residents' pictures on, I have totally switched tables and I'm fully on board with this policy now. Thank you.
So could I ask for you to make a motion to table this particular?
I'd like to make my comments before we table if possible, please, Mike.
Mike's decision.
I think you've been talking all about it already.
I haven't presented the actual evidence that would help you in your decision.
We're not making a decision. We're making a decision to table it at this meeting. Yes?
I don't really even have to vote on that, do you?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yep. So I need a motion from somebody in a second. Then
Well, I would like additional evidence when making a decision. If we're gonna be talking about this again in a month, I would like to have all of the information made available. And not just what would be presented, which maybe you could present it in written format.
That's what I was wondering.
Can you?
Yeah, other people have done that for other topics. We've had people submit letters when there wasn't time or they've used their time. So like he can just write it out and then we'll have everything word for word exactly what he wants to say.
And then also,
Let's bring that up in the new business then, for the next agenda. For
Okay.
that to come in, for that to be made as article to vote on, or talk about at least.
from Joe,
Yep.
that
Joe or
information, because I'd
anybody.
also like to talk about, like, from the town lawyer too, and John Bartlett, like
Yep.
having all of the information presented
Yep,
before a decision can be made.
so table this until that point in time.
Okay.
You make that motion?
I will make the motion to table the discussion of public recording of library trustee meetings.
Okay,
I second.
you second it? Okay, make a note of that for Ellen. You got that, Lauren?
Yes, I'll put it
Okay,
down. Hold on.
first off, then I guess I ask for a vote on that particular motion to table it. I vote in favor. Favor?
Aye.
You vote in
Favor.
favor? Okay, so it's tabled until the next meeting in probably October, third week, third Thursday or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate it, Joe. In just a minute, we'll get back to getting what we were talking about, technology budget breakdown.